first, how about this? Dopes talking hope. After Sleepy Joe and Crooked Hillary and Michelle and Barack and Bubba and Tiny Tim Waltz too, well, now comes Lion Kamala. Regardless of what Harris says or how well she says it, regardless of what happens tonight, the speakers so far, most notably the Obamas on Tuesday night, deserve the last word. The fist-bumping rhetoric of Michelle and Barack Obama is a tell. The back-to-back speeches are an admission, a joint confession, if you will, concerning the hypocrisy of one and the insincerity of the other. The speeches tell us not only what the Obamas believe, but what they feel. The speeches also tell us more than the Obamas want us to know about themselves. By describing a country that is unrecognizable to tens of millions of voters, the Obamas insult supporters of President Trump. By describing a nominee, Kamala Harris, whose candidacy is inconceivable to millions of Democrats and Republicans and independents, the Obamas insult most Americans. Before going any further, a question. Do you remember anything that Joe Biden or the Clintons or the Obamas actually said? I mean, besides orange man bad. The only memorable thing about the speeches is how forgettable they are. The one thing, however, we must not forget is how divisive these speakers are. When the richest politicians in the Democrat Party tell us how to live, when they tell us to only take what they want us to have, when they tell us they are selfless and we're greedy, they mean it. When they speak with contempt toward us, when they act with contempt for us, they obviously don't care what we believe. They don't. Listen to this.
You see, my mom, in her steady, quiet way, lived out that striving sense of hope every single day of her life. She believed that all children, all people have value, that anyone can succeed if given the opportunity. She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed.
Took more than they needed. Well, Michelle Obama speaks down to us when she speaks of people who take more than they need. When she invokes her late mother's memory so she may lecture us, know this. Michelle Obama excludes herself when she deigns to visit Chicago, when she is in town from business, for that is what politics is in Chicago, a business. When she comes to the DNC to close the deal, she will say anything, such as business in a Democrat-run monopoly like Chicago. When Michelle Obama leaves one of her three mansions, when she leaves her weekend estate, say in Massachusetts, a 30-acre compound on Martha's Vineyard, she does so for a reason. No matter where she goes, whether she is on a $255 million super yacht with Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg, or getting $750,000 for a single speech, she enriches herself every time. So please, Mrs. Obama, spare us your advice. Spare us your fictions, too, because when the party you speak of looks nothing like the reality tens of millions of Americans, citizens of all colors and creeds, know, when you speak about the contagious power of hope, know this. Your words lack the power of truth. Your truth is not the truth because the America you describe is not and must never become the America you seem to want. When you all but say President Trump is a racist, when you imply he feels threatened, not because of your success, but because of your race. When you say President Trump feels threatened by two highly successful people, you and your husband, who happen to be black, you destroy whatever hope we have in your ability to speak or act with dignity. Here's more. Listen.
My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hard-working, highly educated, successful people who happen to be black.
Is it racist to disagree with you, Michelle? Is it racist to vote for someone who disagrees with you? Is it racist to say you defame President Trump by suggesting he is racist? Is it racist to ask why Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania is not on the ticket? Oh. Is it too anti-Semitic to say Democrats would rather lose with Tim Walz than win with Shapiro? Is it wrong to say Democrats feel threatened by a successful governor who happens to be Jewish? Not content to say the worst about President Trump, Michelle Obama says Kamala Harris is the best. The best. That Harris is one of the most qualified people to ever seek the office of the presidency. Not one, Not even diehard Democrats believe this, by the way. Not one. Here's more. Listen.
My girl, Kamala Harris, is more than ready for this moment. She is one of the most qualified people ever to seek the office of the presidency.
Yeah, okay. You go with that. Now, does anyone believe Tim Walz is the kind of person who should be in politics? For Barack Obama to say this is one thing. For us to believe it is something entirely different. We don't believe it because we know it's not true. Nothing Walz has said, not last night or last month or last year, is memorable. Nothing Walz has done. For he has done nothing to improve Minnesota. Nothing positive, that's for sure. Here's a little taste of it. Listen to this.
I love this guy. Tim is the kind of person who should be in politics. Born in a small town, served his country, taught kids, coached football, took care of his neighbors. He knows who he is.
And that's when the convention peaked, by the way. That was on Tuesday night. Why did they do that? Barack Obama, by the way, knows how unimpressive Walz really is. We know it, too, because the facts are against him. Obama must resort to fear by saying President Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly divided. Obama wants us to believe in an even bigger lie, that the radicals in the streets of Chicago, the extremists marching in defense of Hamas, that the allies of jihad are the champions of death. There's an abortion van parked outside the United Center. They are the apostles of hope. That's what he wants to sell. I'm not buying it, are you? We'll continue this conversation from the United Center in Chicago as we sort the wheat from the chaff on the Steve Gruber Show.